but it lightens the heavy load of the knowledge that you're carrying. So look, these scientists of death have taken us away from natural foods. And now look at us. When I was a young boy growing up in Boston, cancer was a Caucasian disease. 60 years later, black people lead in every area of cancer. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Your health has been compromised by the food that you eat. You love McDonald's. I'm loving it. And you don't know whether you're really eating a burger or eating science. That they can make something like leather taste like meat, smell like meat. I saw on YouTube, you need to check this out. Lettuce that they make. Put a little green stuff down and watch it grow, and it looks just like lettuce. They have meat that looks like meat, but it's not meat. Check it out for yourself. You're dealing with death itself. That's the enemy of life. That's the enemy of God. That's the enemy. An open enemy. So the Quran says, don't follow in the footsteps of Satan. So every time the Muslim prays, he says, Kul a'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Well, if Satan is accursed and driven away from God, why would you follow in his footsteps? He has made evil fair seeming to us. My dear sisters, you are so beautiful. Your form is so naturally enticing. God does not wish for you to show man your adornments. You know what an adornment is? It is something that makes what you're looking at more beautiful because you've adorned it with something. Your breast is an adornment. The shape of your buttocks is an adornment. So the Quran says, sisters, don't go striking your foot as you walk. Wow. When you do this, especially with those high heels that got you all bent over, you swear you're 6 foot tall and you're 5'6". You can't wait to get home and kick them shoes off and come on down to what's real. But sisters, when you walk and you make noise when you walk, that which naturally has form and beauty and motion attracts attention. So when you dress in something that does not cover your adornment, you open up in a man the worst in him. You say, well, the man ought to be able to handle it. He's not made by nature to handle you in your nakedness or near nakedness. Remember that song, Who Let the Dogs Out? And some of you are Q's and Omegas, you know. And I've been among the Omegas, and they're grown men, you know, professional. I said, Dad, what is this? Who let the dogs out? And sister, I have to tell you, anytime with your fine self that you uncover, you will discover the dog in a man. That man could be your father. That man could be your uncle or your brother or your grandfather. I have not met too many women that have not been abused in this life by some man whom they considered trustworthy. And when a woman is abused by a man that they trusted, they have a natural disinclination to trust a man again. For in their eyes, if a father will molest his daughter because of her magnificent beauty, her innocence, her real love and devotion to that father, and he doesn't understand how to handle the love and devotion of a daughter, then in our world you've committed a crime that is worthy of death. Because when you abuse a woman, you've almost killed her. And from that condition of abuse, only God can bring her back from that and give her a healthy relationship with a man. My sisters, the friend would not style you in clothes that bring the dog out of a man. God is he who is your best friend. God will not allow you to be harmed or hurt like that. So the Quran says, cover yourself. That's not limiting you as a woman. That's making man respect you, not for the beauty of your form or the beauty of your face, but he got to get acquainted with the beauty of your mind. Right. The last thing I wanted to say is the first thing I told Don I wanted to talk about was what is the role of the mosque going forward? Yes, sir. That's right. Let's talk about it. We are in a colonized state of existence. The black community is not a community. It's a colony. Go downtown and look at Chinatown. The Chinese control every aspect of what goes on in their part of town. They're separate and they're happy. You don't see them picketing. They ain't treating me right because I'm a yellow man. They treating themselves right as a yellow man and making a way for themselves, and they're smarter now than the white man. So they happy. You see police in Chinatown, but they look like the people they're policing. And if a white man is in there, he's serving and protecting. But in the black community, the police are not there to serve and protect, but to make sure that the savagery of our community does not spill out and upset the white community and the business community.
Right. Right.
We are a colony like the original colonies in the United States that were tied to a wicked king.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And here we are in a colonial status tied to downtown. Any pastors in the house, you always respond when the mayor calls.
Right. 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 Let's talk about it.
And the mayor calls
Right.
because you are the controlling agent
Come on now.
in the colony
Come on.
of those who are colonized.
Yes, sir. Right.
That's not an enviable position to be in a time of the awakening of the masses.
That's right.
I'm not trying to upset you. I want you to see
Go ahead.
that we are a colony.
Go ahead.
So whenever the white man wants to put something over the city fathers, they call the preachers.
That's right. That's what they do. That's right.
And they call those of you who are aldermen or councilmen or politicians. You're in their system, but you don't know how to make their system work for your constituents.
Right. Right.
Because your constituents are not really yours.
That's right. That's right.
They are a part of the colony of the colonial master. You send your children to school. What kind of education are your children getting? They're getting a colonial education. So when you get your education, you come out, you're not trying to do something for yourself. You're trying to find a white person that will give you a job.
That's right. All right.
Now, I'm not against our women looking beautiful with extensions. But sisters, the Koreans have about 90,000 stores throughout America selling hair products. And you will find they're all in the black community because white folk don't need extensions. They do this all the time. And you about to break your neck trying. So my dear sisters, the money that you give them, you find if there's a black bank in our community, they won't put their money in our bank. They take their money and put it in their banks. So you can't get a loan even though the money that they got in their bank is from your community. So we got to break up the colonial status of the black community. I leave you with this. You can't make this community a decent place to live unless we control the education. The education is part of the trick. And if the education were right for us, we wouldn't lead in dropouts. It's not an appealing education because they're educating us, and the base idea of that education is white supremacy. You need an education that will make you love you, that will make you see what you have contributed to the onward march of civilization. You need an education that you can use to elevate yourself and your people. And we have scholars I'm not talking about we Muslim. I'm talking about black people. We have scholars that can devise an educational system for us, but we have to have the control of the school board and tell them what kind of education we will receive.
Yes, sir.
Then every school in our community should be ours.
That's right. That's right.
And then we should dot the landscape with businesses
Yes.
that we put up.
Yes.
There's a lot of abandoned buildings in our community sitting around doing nothing. But we should take those buildings
Yes.
or buy them and then with a little money rehab them. Take our young men that don't have a trade and take the tradespeople and make our young people their apprentices and let them learn how to rehabilitate these buildings and then sell the buildings and build your own treasury to own the community where you live. And the reason now that in Grove Hall they're moving us out, because you didn't own it. And if you did own it, they gave you a price that you couldn't refuse. And they moved you out. Wherever we live, we should make it ours.
That's right.
The 10,000 fearless,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
we have to be the ones to stand in between the guns and the gangs. These are not bad youth. They're youth that have never been given a proper education and guidance and opportunity to make a better life. That's not for white people to do. That's for you and I to do. And I don't see any government being angry with us for wanting to take control of where we live.
Go ahead. That's right.
And if the government is angry with us for trying to control and own where we live, they have manifested as the enemy, and that demands complete separation in a state or territory of our own. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum. People, family, after hearing what you heard taught today, do you believe that what you heard taught is the truth and is good for us?
Yes, sir.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your hands if you believe it's true? Good, thank you. If you do believe it's true, don't you think it's time that we act on it?
Yes. Yes.
See, if we act on the truth, we're going to make change.
That's right.
I'm not asking you to join the mosque. If you wish to, you can. But all I want you to do is act on the truth that you heard, and let's make ourselves a better people. May Allah bless you. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, Brother Don and Sister Shirley and the family for allowing me this privilege to talk to you today. I greet you again. Assalamu alaikum. I turn you back into the hands of Brother Randy, and he will dismiss you. Thank you.
Allahu Akbar. Let's give it up one more time for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Come on, show your love. Show your love, Boston. All praises due to Allah. All praises are due to Allah. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Did you enjoy yourselves today? Yes. Praise be to Allah. We was well fed, is that right? Yes. Let's give it up one more time for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Well, we received our marching orders, and so let's move out. If you may be seated, we're going to go over a few brief announcements, and then we're going to close out with prayer. Again, we want to thank all those that are listening live. We have listeners right now in Hawaii, Honduras, Ethiopia, Alaska, Canada, Mexico, France, Germany, Ireland, the UK, Portugal, the US, the Netherlands, and England, all over the world listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let's give them a warm round of applause. All praises be to Allah. All praises be to Allah. This is going out through the world, through our broadcast here, that you can catch and you can listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on farrakhanspeaks.com. You can continue to listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, brothers and sisters, again, we would like for you to continue to come out. You know, over 25 years ago, I made my first visit to the mosque, and it was on a day like this, where I heard that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was in town. And I just wanted to come to see him because I was listening on the radio and he was here live. I wanted to see him. And when I came, it was just like this. And I had a beautiful time, just like you had a beautiful time today. Did you have a beautiful time today? Yes, beautiful, is that right? Praise be to Allah. I wanted to know if the mosque was as good when he wasn't here. I want to know, would I come and find the same spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood and get that knowledge and that spirit that says love our people and do for self. So I came back the following week, and I'm still here 25 years later. All praises be to Allah. And so I would encourage you, if you like what you heard today, as I was saying in the opening, Minister Farrakhan is not an entertainer. He is a divine man of God, and he has given us concrete solutions to our problems. And so if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then come on and let's be a part of the solution. Because if you're not a part of the solution, then guess what? You're a part of the problem. Is that right? So I want to invite you to come out. We have study groups here on Wednesday evenings. Doors open at 7:30, and we begin at 8 o'clock sharp for this next week. As we're in the month of Ramadan, we're actually starting at 7:30, so the doors open at 7 because we got to break fast at 8 after 8:30 for Ramadan. And then we have study groups on Fridays as well. We want to invite you to come out. We have our main lectures every Sunday. So next week, same black station, same black time. Come on out so that we can continue to go into the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we can work on what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given us instructions to do. So brothers and sisters, at this time, I want to come forth, if we can come forth with charity. We got the wings filled up. We got brothers and sisters on each side. We got brothers and sisters downstairs. But if you loved what you heard, let's show our love and let's give as Allah has given us and fulfill one of the aspects of our religion, which is charity. So at this time, let us come forth with charity. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Right up here, brother. Yes, sir. Now, so the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked, how many of y'all believe that what you heard is the truth and good for our people? Can I see those hands once again? That's right. All praises are due to Allah. Give yourselves a warm round of applause. Now, after hearing those words, is there anyone today that was inspired and moved and would like to accept your own and be yourself and help us in this city? Help us to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to go out there and get after our people. If there's anyone today that would like to accept their own and be themselves and be a part or registered member of the Nation of Islam, can you please raise your hand today? Anyone in the audience today, don't be shy, don't be bashful. There you go, stand up. Sisters in the back, please stand up. Anybody else? All praises are due to Allah. All praises are due to Allah. Anybody else? If there's anybody in the wings, anybody downstairs, anybody on the side that was inspired today by the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and would like to come on, I want to invite you on up. Sisters, come on up. On behalf of Minister Farrakhan, I would like to have the privilege and the pleasure of shaking your hand and welcoming you to the Nation of Islam. Let's give them a thunderous, warm round of applause. Come right on up.
Brothers and sisters, let's give him a round of applause. All praise is due to Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Anyone else would like to accept the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Don't be bashful. Come on up. This is our day. This is our time. This is the time to rise, black men and women. Show your love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Come on up and shake the hand of one of the student ministers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to show that it's a new day in the old town. We are about to rise and make a difference in the lives of our people. One more time, give him a round of applause. All praises due to Allah. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. The devil's mad, and we're glad
Go ahead. That's right.
that there's a soul that he can no longer have.
That's right. Go ahead.
All praises due to Allah.
Yes. Yes, all praises due to Allah. We so excited. Now, brothers and sisters, you know the final call is here. And I want to thank all of those that traveled with the minister, the final call. Let's give all those that came a warm round of applause, all of our guests. Praise be to Allah. Brother
Let's give hard-working Brother Fontaine from Chicago a round of applause.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Fontaine, could you say that slow one more time? Come on up, brother.
Yes, yes, yes.
Firstly, we're very honored to be here in Boston, Massachusetts. Honored to be in your company. You are a beautiful group of black people. Today's message, dear brothers and sisters, and any other message from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is made available store.finalcall.com. Store.finalcall.com. You can call us toll free at any time.
That's right.
866-602-1230, extension 200. The numbers and addresses that I just mentioned are available in every edition of the greatest newspaper on earth, the Final Call newspaper, digital.finalcall.com. If you don't get the Final Call newspaper, I don't know what's wrong with you. Please subscribe, digital.finalcall.com. Thank you so very much. Assalamu alaikum.
All praise be to Allah. All praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Well, with that said, brothers and sisters, we were well fed. Is that right? Yes, right. At this time, we're going to close out, so I'm going to call Brother Student Minister Rodney Muhammad up to close us out with prayer. Let's bring him on with a warm round of applause. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Just before we have prayer, we have Minister Don Muhammad here, student minister. Yes, let's give him a round of applause. He's not only Minister Don, I know he don't want us to say this, but he has soldiered way before many of us were even born.
That's right.
You understand what I mean? So whenever we see a man like this, we have to honor and respect him and thank Almighty God, Allah, for him, a friend of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the struggle of black people. Let's give him another round of applause. Yes, sir.
You will hear what you're supposed to hear.
Yes, sir.
While I'm trying to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. That's a soldier in the army of the Lord. Is that right? And before we have prayer, I want to recognize Reverend Moore. Can you turn around? This man knew Minister Farrakhan at a young age.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, can I see that right quick?
I was at his wedding,
He was at his wedding. He's 90,
95.
95. And this is the wedding. Mother Khadija, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This brother, I know him. He has a sharp mind at 95 years old. And he's still kicking. You understand? Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you, Brother Moore. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Now, brothers and sisters, if we can please be so kind to bow our heads and close our eyes and just follow me silently in your own special way, close in prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, sole master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do I serve, and thee alone do I beseech for thy help. O Allah, guide me along the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they had heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he upon whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begets, nor is he begotten, and there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserves to be served or worshipped besides Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed thy last and most surely greatest apostle and exalted Christ. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is indeed thy national representative. Let us all say, amen. Amen. Brothers and sisters, wherever you go in peace. If you are attacked, you fight in the name of Almighty God, Allah, and you will be victorious. With that, we greet you with your black smiling faces and the greeting words of peace. And brothers, hug your brothers. Sister, hug your sisters. And husbands, hug your wives, and vice versa. And let's go into the world and let's raise Boston up for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Minister Don Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. As I greet you in peace, Assalamu alaikum. You are dismissed.